Hi, everybody. This is 965 days. 965 days. I hope you can hear me. Since Richard vanished from the barracks there at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. And I know that some people have told me, informed me that they're having trouble watching the live streams. They're not getting notified. It's not shocking. It's not shocking. Um, um, this is this is big, y'all. This is big. And I didn't mean for it to be big. Richard didn't mean for it to be big. I'm sure this is my take. 965 days. I'm sure Richard did not mean this to be big. I think he knew it was big. I think it scared the heck out of him. But not enough to lockstep. Okay? Richard would not lockstep to hurting children. And this is all about child sex trafficking and child sex pornography. And it gets bad. You understand, we haven't reached the bottom. We're, in this situation where you have child sex trafficking, child sex pornography being produced, being sold, making money off of it and then distributing it, right? Distributing it, using it to blackmail people, using it to make people lockstep. It's always been that way throughout history since we've had the ability to produce films. This is a major weapon in war, and psychologically to create pornography, and all pornography is child sex trafficking. All pornography is child sex trafficking because they have to be groomed. They have to be groomed up until they're of age, consent, or whatever. And so you have very, very young people, and you have to also remember that women, they reach their beauty, the peak of their beauty, around 18, 20 years old. So this is all child sex trafficking. Do not be fooled. Do not just always say, oh, well, it's a consent. It's consent. No, this is all grooming. You see it because it's not enough that you have heterosexual pornography. They want, of course, homosexual pornography. Then they want child sex pornography. Then they want to add in all kinds of other degenerate things. That's why you have the doggy porn cult, even participated by a colonel with his doggy masks and all that. The pornography will reach really, really bad situations, and it's not the bottom, because then it involves incest, and and it can get very ugly because it really destroys the family. It destroys the family, y'all. When it gets to that point, when it's incest, the family has no chance. No chance. So you have, and this, this case, Richard Richard is a United States Army soldier. He told me he didn't leave Fort Bliss because he would get in trouble. He didn't leave. Things were just really bad. He said things were really bad. Because I would say, oh, you can go to White Sands where I was born. You could go here. You could go here. Because I don't leave, Mom. I don't leave. I don't leave my room. It's so bad. It's just so bad. So what he saw, it is not outrageous for us to take all of that into consideration. I think all this stuff happened in 2019, so we have it on our wall here. the the timetable, and I know for a fact that things were very bad in Qatar, and by the response from so many people, of course they were really bad because the response was absolutely um, the lowest of the low, the lowest of the low, absolutely cold-blooded, absolutely heartless, no esprit de corps. And these are from the leaders, okay? This is the response from the leaders. And so I want to make clear, I made a video today on TikTok. I'm going to show it to you. Let's see if I can get to it. There's been so much. I put it up on yeah, right here. Picture this. 4-year-old little girl, she don't play much. She don't smile, she don't laugh, she don't say much. She don't know what it is to be a kid. She don't have any friends but grown men. And what they want, you know what they want, what they paid for. Nobody think about the children till they take yours. And nobody could imagine this could never happen, to have a kid never living next door. The truth could bring tears. 1.2 million children a year. 1.1 COVID deaths worldwide. Why you won't help save the kids? I just realized I didn't have the sound on. So let's listen to that again. It's really worth it. And what I did here is it says here our military is in trouble. Okay, our military is in very what do I mean by that? I mean that not one program is successful. They can't even withdraw properly from a place like Afghanistan. Okay, what makes them think they can go to war with anybody else when they can't even withdraw after many years in Afghanistan? They can't even withdraw properly. And we're supposed to have a $1 trillion military, absolutely $1 trillion military. So what do I mean? They can't even do that without, look, we had a sharpshooter that saw the person that was shooting our people in Afghanistan during the withdrawal. He asked for permission to shoot that person. He was denied. They allowed our Marines to be shot. Our military is in trouble, okay? Our military is in trouble. There is no esprit de corps, and that's why the PTSD and the mental health issues and the suicides are way up. If the PTSD is way up, that means they're on drugs. And the mental health illness drugs are devastating because they're very, very difficult to get off of. And the United States is like number one in that for this depression medication and everything. It's so difficult to get off. It is. It really messes with you. And so, now I might get banned for saying that. Oh my gosh. You couldn't mention hydroxychloroquine. Yeah, hydroxychloroquine. You can make homemade hydroxychloroquine easy with, people might laugh at this, but this vitamin C infusion with your lemons and your grapefruit, and just simmer it and just add that into your water, and then just put a little bit in your water. It is great. Make sure your water is clean. Make sure your water is clean. Make sure your water is you can structure it. Look that up. Because healthy water, a lot of vitamin C, very, very important, especially during the winter months and the fall and the spring. Just a little tip. That's a little bonus. And I do want to say I've been made fun of by these people that that I'm going to be talking about with the FBI and the FBI informants and Corinne Adeline West. And I got to talk about the West. And of course, prior CIDs and, political pundits and things like this. But I've been made fun of because I said I found a cure. I found a cure for the brown recluse spider bite. And if you have ever been bitten by a brown recluse, you know that it is, it is, it can be so bad. Okay? It can be so, so bad. And you have to live with it, or you have to get it cut out, or, And so what happened is that President Trump, during this whole COVID thing, see, there's these silver linings to this whole COVID thing. I know it's totally devastating. It was worse than all kinds of nuclear weapons, bombs landing on us because of the devastation to small businesses, the devastation to our rights, the devastation to our children, the devastation to so many lives that were psychologically twisted and turned in fear, and also to the hospitals. We won't go into that, how they played a part in all this. And of course, it was all led by the DOD on our dime. On our dime. So we did it to ourselves on our dime. I don't know why we pay taxes. But there's a little silver lining, because remember when President Trump, when he was president, and he was trying to get out this hydroxychloroquine, the ivermectin, and he mentioned light therapy, and he mentioned chlorine dioxide. Chlorine dioxide would be like table salt mixed with oxygen, okay? It's not like Clorox, okay? But the media and all the political people, they just stamped it with Clorox, like, oh, he wants us to inject Clorox and stuff like that. And, they're just such evil, wicked people out there that twist things and do this psyop with everybody. But anyway, so chlorine dioxide, if you have a chance to ever have it, if you know how to get it, if you put a little on a cotton ball and you rub it on the bite, the brown recluse spider bite, do not put any oil, cream, anything with it. Nothing. Okay? Because that negates the salt and the oxygen. You're putting oxygen into that wound, that bite. This is a little bonus, okay? Because I've been made fun of saying, wow, I had this chlorine dioxide from the beginning of COVID, and let's try it. Let's try it and see if it works. And it immediately helped. And then we put some oil because it dries out the skin. And then it didn't help. And then we're like, okay, what's going on that it helps and it doesn't? So we left the oil off. Any kind of some people use coconut oil, some people use vitamin E oil, some just on their skin, baby oil, whatever. Do not use it. Okay, do not use it. Let that area, just on that area, let that area just have the chlorine dioxide, and it works, 100%. Woo! Yes. Now you got you can try it. I mean, it's just on a little cotton ball, a few drops, and just rub it. It can't hurt you. Okay. But of course, ask your doctor, see what your doctor thinks, share this information, share this possibility of this huge cure, because people have suffered and lost their legs and had to be cut on and everything. And all you need is a few drops of the chlorine dioxide and, and just rub it on. But now, some person said, oh, you can use any kind of chlorine on a bite and it will help. I don't know. I don't know. I know that this worked. So ask your doctor. Don't trust me. Whatever you do, do not trust me. But I've seen so many people suffer, and I just thought, I have to mention it, and bring it to your doctors, bring it to the authorities, and let them decide. Now, are the authorities really going to act on the behalf of people? I don't know. I really don't know anymore. But I've always been, I'm not an anarchist. I really believe that we need to have structure and order as a government, as a society. And yeah, I haven't changed my beliefs on that just because something is very corrupt. And it is. It is. And, people should listen to medical advice from many different sources and see and weigh it out and know how to study a study, absolutely, and test a test, because those tests that were really the thing up your nose and stuff, the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. I cannot believe they did that to people. Anyway, laughing at us, these evil demons that put that forth and knew that those tests, when you look at them, uh, anyway, we won't get into that. Okay, I can talk for hours about what we've been through and what they put people through psychologically and physically, that are crimes against humanity. And don't forget, that was led by these DOD. And yeah, so I put together, we are in trouble. We've had a military that is committing crimes against humanity. And this is not the regular service member. I want everyone to know that. This is, I just point right to the top, 44 four-star generals. And after today, talking about this Russian jet that bumped into our drones, our 44 four-star generals have so much power behind them. They have all kinds of drones behind them, okay? They have submarines, they have drones, but they don't have, what they don't have is esprit de corps. What they don't have is respect. You would not believe what the comments were after this press conference. I was like, this is not good. We are in trouble. And it's because our 44 four-star generals and admirals are up to no good. They're up to no good. I don't know what they're doing, but they're up to no good. Okay? They are not defending our Constitution, the land, and the people. And so I made this because we have child sex trafficking issues in the military. Richard was a whistleblower. He's whistleblowing that there's child sex trafficking issues, child sex pornography production. There is illegal drugs. Our barracks have become marketplaces for illegal drugs. This is what this says. The sex cult grooming, all of this grooming, everything about sex. All they can think about is sex. And how are they going to win a war if all they think about is sex, right? How? I mean, where are the discussions? And this is with these people that have been texting me these vile, vulgar messages. Where is the discussions on other things in the world? There's more things in the world. There is travel. There is hobbies and farming and production. There is thriving ways to build an economy. There is, all of these other things that are going on, the know-hows, the do-it-yourself, the interest in nature. They always talk about nature, but they show no interest in nature. All they show interest in is sex, grooming, sex, porn, vile, vulgar sex, magic, sex, witches, sex, doggy cults, everything is sex. Well, that's not how I raised my children. And this is what is happening in the military. Everything is about, the genders and the sex and the this and the that and who can marry who. Let me tell you, the whole marriage issue, which, that's been out there too. This is exactly what I told Richard. This is what Rob and I exactly told Richard. Marriage is a sacrament of the church. The government, the civil government, has no right to reach its tentacles into the church's government and force the church to change its sacrament. Okay? It is a sacrament of the church between a man and a woman. One man, one woman. That's the sacrament of the church. Now, I talked about this spheres of government, right? There's a separation between the church and the state. That's the state. The civil government is one sphere. The church is another sphere. And the family is another sphere. And businesses are another sphere. And what's happening is there's a fluidity going on, and this octopus is reaching into all these spheres of government, trying to tell us what to do, and we're having totalitarianism. That's what's going on, right? Well, we don't want fluidity. We want division for stability. We want the family to do its thing. It is a government, our own self-government, our work area government, our church government, then the civil government. Why is the civil government sticking their long arms trying to tell the church what to do? Okay? And then, they use the taxes, they use benefits, they use if you want to build things, they use a strong arm in many different ways to manipulate the church, and infiltrators. So, but Richard knew there's a separation. There's a civil government and a church government, and there's a separation between church and state, and that needs to be respected. And the 44 four-star generals, because that is constitutional, are failing in educating and protecting and defending the Constitution of the United States of America, the land and the people, when it comes to the Constitution. And clearly, because they have this sex cult grooming now, they have the rape, the sexual assault, the human trafficking, the unjust wars, can't even know how to fight a war, not even know how to leave a unsuccessful war, we lost, okay? We lost so many lives, and we killed so many lives, okay? It's just now coming out how many we killed in Vietnam. Millions, right? They would never admit to it. And I was listening to a colonel. What is his name? I wrote it down. But anyway, it might be up here but we have a problem in the military. So I made this. So let's listen.
Picture this, 4-year-old little girl, she don't play much. She don't smile, she don't laugh, she don't say much. She don't know what it is to be a kid. She don't have any friends but grown men. And what they want, you know what they want, what they paid for. Nobody think about the children till they take yours. And nobody could imagine this could ever happen, to have a kid never living next door. The truth could bring tears. 1.2 million children a year, 1.1 COVID deaths worldwide. You won't help save the kids, but you will live in fear. The more that I hear, more disgusted I get that the world could commit so much horrible So for the children, used, bruised and abused, to you I refuse to forget. I'll be looking for any other sign. If something isn't right, you can say it with your eyes. Tell me how a mother can sell her own baby and live with it for the rest of her life. Man, it's crazy. We know about the raping, we hear about the torture, and all of the stories of horror, but we just ignore them. They don't want to do it, but somebody force them. Or what about the third trimester abortion? 2 buys the fetus. Who sets the prices? Some kids will never know how precious life is. They get pumped full of drugs and lay their lifeless. You ain't ready for the truth, but how hot this mic is, I gotta tell it. If you can ignore this, then you heartless. I know we can take my love, my...
Yeah. So, so absolutely, there is a problem with child porn, and that child porn is child sex trafficking, and the child sex trafficking leads to all kinds of drug use, legal and illegal, because of the mental damage that it does. And this is so widespread in our military. It's so widespread that the only conclusion that you can get to, is that our 44 four-star generals, and you saw those pictures, the admirals and the generals, these 44, and there were some flag officers in there, and there was, but I just did a real quick search on Google and filmed it. But, that these General McConville, General Mealy, and General Garrett, and this has been going on. This is the excuse people give me. Pat, don't you know? This has been going on for a long, long time. This has been going. You know what? I don't care. Enough is enough. When is it going to stop? When are we going to say, no, this is not okay? How far down does it have to get? No, this has got to stop, because look at Lavina Johnson. That was what? So long ago, 14 years ago. When are we going to say this is enough? Okay. For me, looking into this, and I was forced to look into this because our son went missing. Richard went missing. And I was forced to look into, like, okay, what kind of environment? Did he get in a fight with someone? What happened? And then I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many criminals. Oh my gosh, there's so many drugs. Oh my gosh, there's so many frat parties every day. And then the command sergeant major tells me they're bringing girls into this. Girls, okay. And then you have the soldier that was trained at Fort Bliss that goes over to fight for Ukraine. And then he defects. He's a defector to Russia. Okay. And look, loyalty, you stay with the person that you came to the dance with, right? He should have stayed in the United States. He should have fought for the United States. That's my thing. He's a defector. But in all of that, there's always some truth. And he was interviewed by RT, and he goes, oh yeah, Fort Bliss. Oh yeah, it's hot there. Yeah. And did a lot of drinking. That wasn't fun for me. A lot of drinking. Well, he was only 18. I thought, hey, Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe, who cares so much about our service members, not, you get an F minus. Ooh, I have F minuses here for these. Oh yeah, I need to do Sean Bernabe. 3 stars. Not F minus. You don't care. Because it was his SJA, and there's more to it. I am calm, y'all. Compare what was and has been done to us, and what was and has been done to our service members, and what is being done to our service members. I am calm. I'm a very nice person, because what they have done, it's so bad. It is so bad. They've put millstones around their neck, and they're just going to be thrown into the abyss. I mean, it is so bad. So their SJA was telling us, insulting us. Here we have a missing soldier, and they are telling us we take underage drinking seriously, because they wanted to smear Richard. They wanted to smear him, and I'm like, you know what? Just find him first. Find him, right? And then and I'm saying that's not punitive anyway, what you're doing. And And I was much calmer then. I was much nicer. I was much more, I hadn't been put through the ringer so many times. So I was much calmer and much nicer. I will have to admit, I'm just trying to be respectful to our stars, right? Trying to be respectful. Um, uh, the uniform deserves it. But Sean Bernabe is a demon in our uniform. Okay? And I have, that is being nice. That's being nice. So, I'm like, you can just find him and then whatever you want to label him, fine. But let's find him first. I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of you going through, with a fine tooth comb his life where we've been wasting so much time. Just find him, And, we have uncovered so much that they already knew. See, this is why it's so sad, because they already knew. They already knew that the child porn was reported. They already knew the child trafficking was reported. They already knew that even worse things that were reported, and they already knew that it pointed to service members. They already knew all of that. And they rather it continue. They rather that child rape continues than to, because they want to preserve their stars. They want to preserve their life. So they are willing to sacrifice our children. They're willing to sacrifice our children for their stars. And I'm not willing. I'm not willing. And Richard wasn't willing either. And they don't realize that you start sacrificing children, you start greenlighting child sex trafficking and child pornography, it gets out of hand real quick and it turns into a doggy cult and worse. All that sex magic stuff. It turns the natural affection of men and women against each other. It turns the natural, beautiful affection between a husband and wife against each other. It makes things dirty and instead of beautiful. And then people don't even know. Then they don't even know. They go through life being groomed. They go through life being groomed and sexually assaulted and filmed and marketed and abused. And then it's a mental problem, a mental torture that these young people go through. And they don't even know that there is a beautiful, natural relationship, intimacy between a husband and a wife. They don't know. They don't know it. They never get to learn it. They never get to experience it. And it's just ugly sex cult that gets uglier and uglier and uglier. And so this is what's going on in Richard's case. And because we got the CID and FBI numbers, case numbers, and I know what's in these files. Okay. I know. But when you want to say, how does this affect Richard's case? Well, we know that the CID and the FBI have leaked. And we reported this leak as early as the 9th of November, 2020, to Lieutenant General Donna Martin, who was the commander of CID at the time, Criminal Investigative Divisions. We reported this in front of course, Sean Bernabe, when he was a 2-star general. He since was rewarded for his evil with a 3rd star, and he's a lieutenant general now. And this is, I'm serious, y'all. I'm being nice. And it sounds so harsh, but think of these children being raped. Think of them being groomed. Think of them being groomed that this is like supposed to be the normal life. Think about them being groomed that this is consent. Think about them being filmed, being raped. Think about them being marketed. Think about other people stuffing their pockets with the money of children being raped and groomed and marketed, and never knowing that there is a beautiful intimacy between a husband and a wife that forms a family. Think about it. And then you'll know I'm being nice. Because this is involving service members, okay? This is involving service members and their children. And I don't care what you want to build, what you want to pay off with this money. I don't care. It's not okay. It's not okay. And our 44 4-star generals have held up green flags for it. And not only that, they are financing. They are taking our money, and they're up to no good. Up to no good. And a lot of money has been spent on this case. A lot of money. Because the FBI and the CID have been up to no good. There's been asymmetric warfare tactics used. There has been military operations used on our family. But more important, they continuously and severely retaliated against Richard for being a whistleblower. They didn't protect him. They didn't honor him. They didn't respect him for wanting to protect children, to want to stop child sex trafficking and child pornography in the military. And that is then connected like Siamese twins with the drug problem, with the violence problem, with all of this other stuff going on. And I cannot tell you how many people have said, Pat, be careful, be careful. Why? Because child sex trafficking, child sex pornography production, marketing, sales, distribution, broadcasting it, sending it down on the cloud, airdropping it to people's phones and everything like that when they go to a cash thing that they can pay money for it and all that. This grooming, this industry that's in our military, it is a Siamese twin to violent crime. Of course, the rape of children. Violent crime. And those children grow up, you see, and they continually get raped, and they call it consent because they've been so groomed that they expect it, every Wednesday night, every Saturday, every whatever. And this is a psychological battle people have to understand this is the one and the many. This is physical and it is psychological. So that's Chalcedon. If you want to know the whole theology of it, the whole philosophy of it, what our Lord was fighting, what he was trying to demonstrate to people, is he was fully God and fully man, right? And fully spiritual, fully physical. So people attack the spiritual, they attack your spirit, they attack you physically. They attack you physically, they attack your spirit. They want to destroy you. And this is what they do with children. It's a psyop to the extreme that turns very physical. And people need to understand what is going on, because this is in our military. How in the world are we going to have noble and honorable and respectful 44 four-star generals? No. If you look on Twitter, on Telegram, on any of the videos, the YouTube videos, all this, the comments they have no respect for our leadership. This is so dangerous for our country, because if they are not respected, and the military is not a democracy. You have to obey orders. These orders are not going to be obeyed. They're going to have defectors, like this young soldier from Fort Bliss, who, no problem for him. He's going to go over to Ukraine and fight there to collect information and defect over to Russia. You see, no respect for our leaders, no respect for the Constitution, no love for this country, no esprit de corps, no Medal of Honor ethos. That soldier defected is a direct result of the defection of our 44 four-star generals in their duties, because they're serving foreign and domestic enemies instead of doing their duty, which is to defend the Constitution, the land, and the people. It's very clear, very clear. And Richard had no respect for them, because he went to their chain of command and they just tell you to shut up, just like Asia Graham went to her chain of command, okay, her captain, and said, I was raped. Oh, shut up. And I was raped. I'm not going to shut up. You better shut up. And you know what I'm going to do to you? I'm going to put that rapist 2 doors down from you in your co-ed barracks, because our 44 four-star generals, they had this bright idea. I don't know who had the bright idea, but they didn't fight against it, to make our barracks co-ed when it's 1 to 9. 1 female to 9 in the Army, like 1 to 400 in the Marines. I mean, y'all, what kind of leadership do we have? So 2 doors down, every time she went out of her room, she saw her rapist. And that was so mentally devastating for her. Of course it is. It's a grooming. It's a grooming to normality. You get raped, you keep a body count, you get groomed. Let me tell you, if you're a female, watch out. If you're a male, watch out. All of our sons and daughters are in danger right now, because we don't have the backbone right now in this country to investigate and audit and replace these 44 four-star generals, because, this is the first black general, this is the first female general, this is the first transgender general, this is the first Catholic general, this is the first Jewish general, this is the first, who cares? Who cares? What is all that fluidity? We need stability. They have failed. I don't care who they are. They have failed. They have become twisted and turned into traitors of these United States. And we have plenty of service members that are honorable, that are sick and tired of this. I see them fighting every day. And they can be made very quickly into leaders to fill our beautiful uniforms with 4 stars. But I will tell you this, I've seen some articles. What was his name? I really liked him. I know it was Colonel, and I wanted to say it. What was his name? Let me see. Let me see if I wrote it down. I have so many names on here because I've been talking to so many people. Nope, is it on there? I will get that to you. What was his? Mac. I know it was like an Irish name. It's going to come to me. McGregor. Colonel McGregor. I think that's his name. Colonel McGregor. I'm thinking about his first name. And he wrote an article and said, we are so bloated on top. We need to get rid of our 4 stars. Not all of them. But, during World War II, we had seven of them for 13 plus million service members. Now we have only 1.3 million. Everything has changed. And did I even post it up here? Did I write about it? I thought maybe I posted it. Oh, yeah, I did. So I did. Okay. I knew it. Okay, so here it is. The next administration's top priority, and I'm trying to find his name. The next administration's top priority must be a dramatic reduction in the 4-star overhead. America's military future must be shaped by 2 kinds of generals and admirals: system creators and builders, those who can theorize and design, and those who can harness people and technology with the ability to lead and inspire. Yes, we need inspiration and to aspire, right? These are the desired attributes that transcend the drill field, the parachute jump, and the routine exercise. Who is this guy? This colonel, and I know his face, but that just tells you, I've been a mom, okay? I've been a wife. I've been homeschooling. I've been doing art and gardening and building things and taking care of chickens, making sure my kids take care of chickens, making sure they taking care of the house, and learning how to cook and learning how to do things, right? And so who is this guy? And I love it. That's what I want to do. It's an honor for me. And this is what I told the Sergeant Major of the Army in a tweet. I said, it has been an honor for me to keep the home front for my husband. He was deployed many times, I think unjustly. I think we've had very bad leadership for a long time. But for really defending the Constitution, really doing great things, it is an honor for me to keep the home, to make cookies for our service members, to invite people over to eat that are stressed out, to teach our children, right? And to make sure the home is a beautiful place, so that when my husband comes home from work or from deployment or whatever he has had to do in that kind of stressful job, I've learned, I've told him, oh my gosh, Rob, I did not realize the stuff you've had to deal with. You know, I am so glad you're out there being a physician assistant. You're out there taking care of people. When you come home, I want you to come home, and I don't want to add to any of your burden if I can help it, right? I don't want to add to it. So it's been an honor for me to do that. This is a team. It's a team, a husband and wife team. And I was very fortunate to grow up in that kind of home, to have that, to be trained in that, and to have a wonderful Oma that was left to be on her own because her husband died shortly after they got married when my mother was like 2 weeks old. So, it was much more difficult for her. And so it is an honor. And women aren't, they want to put women on the front line. If they put men and women on the front line, who is going to protect the home front line? That's a front line too. And this is something I said to the Sergeant Major of the Army on Twitter. It was an honor to be on the front line of home because that's hard work. It is hard work to manage the family and everything. And so I'm not putting a feather in my hat, but I'm just telling you it was hard work, especially if you have health problems or whatever, right? So this whole military, they have to change their whole thinking to one that's not about fluidity, but one that is sure, that has those virtues, those Army virtues, the military virtues, the military creeds, the stability, and the one mission overall, and that is to defend our Constitution, the land, and the people. And these clowns, these demon clowns, so who is this guy that wrote this? Let me see. What was it? Douglas McGregor. Wow. That's a great guy. I really enjoyed his article. So this guy, General Mealy, he needs to get out of that uniform. For me to see him in our beautiful uniform, it just gives me the creeps. Because he even says in this that, what was he saying? Oh, there's the book cover. That's the book cover. Let me see if I put it up here. Oh, yeah, I did. That he doesn't know why Russia is aggressive. Wow. Woo. Okay, now I'm going to tell you this. My parents spent 9 years working at the American Embassy right there in Moscow. They went over there and risked their lives for the United States of America when it was still communist. They went over there and worked in the embassy when it was still communist. Okay? And, yeah. And they saw that whole changing, the whole Iron Curtain going down, the attack on the White House, the Russian White House there. They saw, the tanks, Yeltsin's tanks coming up. I was talking to my dad. He's watching it out of the window. I'm talking to him from Heidelberg, Germany, where my husband was stationed. This clown doesn't know, and I'm sorry, I don't like to be disparaging, but this guy needs to get out of that uniform. Okay? He needs to get out. He needs to go do something else. But I think he needs to be investigated and audited first. I think it's gone way before just letting him go out and do something else. But, yeah. So, I can tell you because my parents still, well, my dad passed away R.I.P. Dad. I still, it's hard for me. It hasn't been very long since my dad passed away, and it's hard for me to even think in those terms that my dad's not here anymore. But we have friends there in Russia. Okay? Because my parents were not allowed to have a car. If they wanted to go anywhere, they had to have a driver. And the driver had a married couple. The man passed away. The driver we are still friends with. And when the Iron Curtain came down and we moved back to the States, we moved back to Washington, D.C. area, to Olney, Maryland, we invited the son of the driver to stay with us for a summer. And, you know, he was just a young boy. And my dad was so good to him. And, you know, he had never, this was so different for him. Well, now he's grown up. He has children. He has children. He lives in Russia. He worked for GM. They worked for GM. What our government tells us and what's going on over there with their government, you know, our government doesn't reflect us, right? This guy here doesn't reflect us. What we did in Afghanistan doesn't reflect us. It does, but, you know, does that mean that we're all supposed to be evil? And so the Russians are not all evil. They're trying to do a psyops on us to make us want to go to war so they can have their big war machine, you know, all their contracts and everything, the defense contracts. So that's what I believe. So absolutely, I do not believe that the people there in Russia are evil. And I think that there are some criminals there, just like here. And the same thing with Ukraine. There are criminals there. And this is an elite skirmish. This is an elite war. And they want to bring us into it. And they want our volunteer sons and daughters to join to shed the blood for their elite war, for the bank powers, for the money powers, for the resources powers. And I think it's absolutely disgusting from our leadership. I really do. And in the middle of all of this, our son is missing. And they, you know, this is such an important, they can't even find a missing soldier that is missing from his barracks. That, you know, all they have to do is go look at the Child Protective Service complaint, which I'm pretty sure they probably did, because the IG were all over the barracks because of Halliday. And, you know, and also the sex videos, they're in the cloud. You know, they were airdropping them. They're all over. If they wanted to stop it, I mean, if I can find all this information, they can find it. They have drones. They have they have the NSA. They have all kinds of stuff, sneaky Pete stuff. And that goes to what this is really about. And it's about the, this guy. Oh, you have to listen to him. He's really good.
The facts you're going to have to accept to believe the Nord Stream pipeline narrative that was just fed to you last week. So the narrative you're expected to believe here is that 6 individuals, 4 divers, a captain, and a doctor somehow secured all the necessary materials to carry out this attack while Baltops 22 was going on. It's one of the biggest exercises multinationally in the area. So while all this is going on, these people got together enough explosives, some estimate up to 2,000 kilograms, fake passports, dive gear to go to 250 feet, the requisite training that they would need to do all of these things. They got everything together without popping up on a watch list, rented a 15-meter yacht, that's not very big, and then proceeded to sail from Rostock out over the Nord Stream pipeline, and somehow conducted probably 4 consecutive days of diving operations with no hyperbaric chamber to 250 feet to place remotely detonated explosives on the Nord Stream to sabotage it, with no state backing. But then somehow this superhuman special operations mission that should have never happened, if it did, it's the most amazing story on the history of the planet, We get done, and the team of super geniuses that just made this thing happen from planning to execution forgot that they paid for the yacht that they rented with Ukrainian bank money, and it was easily traced. And there were traces of explosives all over the boat, which they didn't bother cleaning. Does that make any sense?
This guy, oh my gosh, awesome. Awesome. And then, why don't we make him a general, right? Why don't we make him a general? We have such good people. And no, we get the likes of this demon, right? This demon, this treasonous, he's not even respected. He's not, because everyone knows I didn't do it. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. So, anyway, here's the cover to our book. This is the cover to the book. It's not finished yet because it's not finished, right? It's not finished. The whole story is not finished. Have we found our son? We just now know that the CID and the FBI leaked, right? What happened is November 9th, 2020, we knew that there was a leak. And we told them there's a leak out of the CID. What happened during that meeting in front of 15 plus agencies? The CID, who is the one that we said was leaking, took the papers and they said they would investigate themselves, right? Well, we'll take care of it. Yeah, well, I'll take care of it. No, we didn't know this, but in that room, all the FBI were there, the SJAs were there, everyone was in there, Department of Homeland Security, the U.S. Marshals, all these law enforcement, the El Paso Police Department, and they didn't even say a peep and say, no, you can't go and investigate yourself. You've got to give that to the FBI. They have to investigate your leak now. You see? That's what needed to happen in that meeting. So now we have the leaked CID and FBI file numbers from Leilani Hart that she got, I think she even had them certified. I think they're certified by a notary. I think they are. And so Tavita Nusa, so that's a separate thing because she turned in certified complaints about things that were going on in her home, in her family. And then Dallas Hart comes on, and I'm grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. But I don't believe him. I don't believe anybody. So I hope he doesn't take it personally, but I don't believe him. When he waits until 963 days, today is 964 days, maybe, yeah, and to say that, I'm just a really nice guy. I'm an honorable guy. I've just done my duty. I'm in no kind of trouble. Well, that's not true, right? That's not true. And the main points were, I don't know Deborah West. That was a big point, okay? I don't know Tavita Nusa. That was another big point. Why is he making those points? And I was not there. I was deployed. See, I leaked out my travel voucher to you through Corinne, through Chris. They're all telling me, oh, see, he's totally clear now. We've totally cleared him. He was nowhere near. I've got all these screenshots where they're just, no, he's been cleared. There's been a leaked document. That document is also very questionable because travel docs are now digitized. This is not a digitized. This is a handwritten doc. You can go and look at it. So that needs to be investigated. So sorry, Dallas. All that needs to be investigated. And I'm not the investigator. I've been turned into someone that has to investigate because the 44 four-star generals, including General McConville, who, you know, in my book is even worse than General Milley, but that's because of our case, did not put together a true and real task force Find Richard Halliday. He staged a task force Find Richard Halliday. He never has issued an op-ord for Task Force Find Richard Halliday for the 15 plus agencies to work together to investigate the disappearance of Richard Halliday, the very first CONUS Dust 1 missing soldier under the new Vanessa Guillen absent soldier flowchart, the distinguished honor graduate for his cycle in basic training and AIT. He has not put together anything like that for this soldier. Okay? And so we don't have any after action reports, due outs. We don't have this information. We can't get this stuff together so that authorities could take action in the real search of our son. No, they stage a canine search. They bring us in for a PowerPoint presentation of this canine that doesn't last very long because it has to go pee-pee and poo-poo, and then it's over with. And then, you know, we find out later that they have a hard time finding dogs that are human remain sniffing dogs. And so we contact them and say, what was the name of that dog? What was the name of the handler? So that we can find out what kind of training that dog had, because you guys are lying to us so much. Did you lie to us about the canine? Let's just see if you can be forthright with us. And of course they weren't. So they can't even be forthright and real when it comes to a canine search. So this is, just one more example. Of course, there's so many egregious examples like this one that you're watching here. Sorry. That, you have a senior MP or senior leader, I don't even know if he's MP, going to an MP guard mount, which is a change of shift, telling the MPs there at Fort Bliss that Richard, groundlessly, no grounds at all for this, is like the worst type of person. So, and they know that they've already groomed them enough so that they don't have esprit de corps, groomed them enough in the torturing mindset, the careless mindset, the Darwinian kind of mindset, that they don't care to even find Richard. Matter of fact, they a little bit more. Anthony Swafford went an extra step. He tried to persuade people not to even search for Richard or help us pass out flyers. So, they had done their training job, their psyops on our soldiers. And I believe that Anthony Swafford has a lot of potentiality. He has a lot of potentiality. And he could have a really good, warm heart. He could be a very patriotic person, fight for all the right reasons. But that is not the environment he was put in. That was not the psyops, the hypnosis, those hypnosis things that they do to these soldiers like Jay Paulin, like First Sergeant Ruggiero, and all this other terrible, terrible leadership that we've had to face during this. And this was, can you imagine how horrible this is? I've let you watch this repeatedly. But this is the father-in-law of Lieutenant Colonel Bugado in the G3 of the 32nd ATCOM. And, so this is at the end. Let's watch the beginning. The beginning is also very interesting. He comes in. This right here, if you see it, this right here is the flyer of Richard. That's the face of Richard, the flyer of Richard. And he takes a really good look at it. And he comes in and he tells her she can take down the flyers. Okay? She can take down the flyers. So this is the clip of him looking at the flyer of Richard. That's right here. And here it is. This was the flyer that was on the door. And let me see if I can even get this. Oh, yeah, you can hear it.
I'm just going to videotape it because I can't remember everything.
Okay.
Yeah, he came by and then he asked that who put the flyers. So I told him that a friend that worked here, and he's like, oh, he's been found. You could take him off. And I was like, okay. I'm like, is he okay? I'm like, good thing you guys found him. He's like, no, but bad news. He just said that, and then when he was leaving, he's like, come here. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, he's dead. And I was like, okay. And then I didn't quite understand this part, but he said that they found him in Paris, and that right now that they have like 5 points of where he can be, and that they were gonna check today, I believe. But that's what I understood from the 5 points, because he threw me off right there.
Because there's been reports that Richard was cut up in pieces and put in several different places.
Where they think that his body might be, and that they were gonna check him.
And do you have like a picture of this man?
If I can, I could probably get it once I get out of work. But if you want, I could send it to Luz, the girl that would talk to you. That way she could send them to you. But it's because right now, since I'm on register, I'm not going to be able to. But
Yeah.
I get out at 3. As soon as I get out, I could go back there, take pictures.
There was
record
another
when
person that was
talking
working
or
there that
whatever,
really
and
helped
I'll
us
tell her to send it to you.
because she had to watch the register.
No, that's what Luz was telling me, that she thought that was weird.
Really? Wow.
But I
And
don't know.
he said he was FBI?
Yeah, he's like, the reason I know is because.
Do you know, can you describe what he looked like?
He was kind of chunky. He had glasses. He was.
Oh,
I'm not in a hurry.
okay.
He was kind of old.
Got the day off.
But he had like a blue
He's around 60 years old at that
He
time.
comes here like, not a lot, but every morning I kind of see him here sometimes. But
Really?
yeah, he told me he was FBI, so I was like, okay, but I never asked him, oh, show me your badge, show me.
How
proof.
tall?
He was maybe like,
So we believe, because the FBI did
Okay.
come back and tell us that he is not a
but
special
yeah,
agent,
Wow.
once I get out,
and we
Hispanic?
believe them on that one,
No, he
just
had an
because
accent.
of
like, it didn't
his
seem like
age
he
and everything.
was-
But maybe we're
he
wrong.
had an accent.
But we
But it didn't
think
sound
he's
like,
a
Hispanic.
FBI informant.
Wow.
But yeah,
Okay.
as soon as I get out, I'll take a video and send it to Luke. Okay?
You're the best. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Yeah.
If I can, I could.
Let's see. I guess I thought that. Oh. So we have the whole CCTV footage of him, talking to her, and he uses his hands and he calls her over and that. And you can go and see that on Find Richard Halliday Facebook. I've put it everywhere. I can put it up again. But if you go right on, it's everywhere. But the point about it is, about this, is that why do we have to, that here he is. He is an apt man. I would call him an apt man, right? He's not some crazy guy. He's not just some guy. He's busy. I'm going to tell you that. He's a busy man. He's a businessman. And he's not just watching my Facebook, okay? And that is what we were told. The FBI lied to us, okay? They didn't sit us down and say, this is very sensitive video. This man is someone very important in this case, and we are investigating it. They did not say that to us. They said, don't worry about it. He's just some guy. So just like November 9th, the meeting that we had, that we said there's leaks, now we find out that the FBI have betrayed us too. Lying to us, covering up. And he did say that they were looking for Richard in 5 places there in Juarez, Mexico. Not Richard, his remains. And we called the Department of State, our contact there, and we asked him, were the FBI looking for Richard's remains there in Juarez? And he said yes, and he proceeded to tell us. Now, this is just such, it's so insulting. It's so insulting to every service member. It is kicking every service member in the teeth, every service member in the gut. And these 44 4-star generals, especially General McConville, General Garrett, they know. But they have committed crimes against us, against the very people that are, they're supposed to be leading. They're not benevolent leaders. They're not honorable. They're not respectful. They're not loyal. They are treasonous. They're not selfless servants. They are fulfilling their desires. And at the expense of the American taxpayer, fraud, waste, and abuse, and at the expense of every volunteer son and daughter that comes in that thinks that they are joining something greater than they are. And they're not. This is, again, the maps. If you want to know a little bit more about these maps, you can definitely go to yesterday's, and I talked about this area. And, I just think it's really important to stress what we want right now. And what we want right now, because we have enough hard evidence. And I should talk about Corinne West right now. Corinne Adeline West. Now, Corinne Adeline West has access to files. I know what her job is. And she has been, I bet you way over 1,000 hours, if more, on this case. Okay? She has been the forefront and the back front, because she went behind our back to people that did not know Richard, that were following us anyway because of Vanessa Guillen, because of what was happening at Fort Hood, the egregious criminal actions that were happening at Fort Stewart, at Fort Bragg, at Fort Hood. It gave us a following because of Caleb Smither, because of Vanessa Guillen, because of Enrique Roman Martinez, because of Gregory Morales, because of Austin Hawk. It gave us an unexpected following. People that were concerned with what was going on with these missing soldiers and killed soldiers, brutally murdered soldiers, and what our leadership was doing. And she called these people, contacted these people behind our back, okay, we were notified, and convinced them of total lies, smears about our family and about our son. And she's been at the forefront with others. It's been a team smearing our family and our son. And we have been told by more than one person that Dallas Hart is friends with her daughter. That was really something. Now, 2 days ago, Dallas was making this point. I do not know Deborah West. Okay? You've had a whole year me talking about it. Corinne, thousands of hours me talking about it. And all of a sudden, it's like, let's patch things up, let's prepare, because now we have something what we want. We have enough information. We have it all, and now we're getting even more, something that we want. And that is that Richard's case be taken out of the jurisdiction of the FBI and the CID and placed in a different agency's jurisdiction. What is going to happen? That needs to be discussed, because the FBI and the CID have not only leaked, but they have betrayed us. And we need to know what part of what Dallas Hart is saying is true and what is not true. We need to know what part of Leilani Hart's story, and not just story, she had her files, her complaints to the CID, to the FBI certified. What part of those are lies? What part of them are true? Now, why did she want Richard's file? Well, Richard had porn videos that he turned over, but videos are missing. Videos have been tampered with. But videos are in the cloud. They're in the cloud. There needs to be a hearing where people have to be under oath, and not under the FBI and not under the CID. That Richard's case needs to be taken out of that jurisdiction. Those jurisdictions. Because they have betrayed us. They have leaked. They have lied. They're not capable, because they're covering up for something else, for somebody else, for something else. If it's the institution of the military, if it's generals that they know, if it's colonels that they know. I don't know. All I know is my son is missing, and we have been dealt with very badly, and Corinne Adeline West has been one of the people on the forefront of that, and that's not a lie. And I was told over and over and over again, who is this woman? She's up to no good. Pat, who's this woman? She's up to no good. And I've been very kind during this whole time of the evil. You have to remember, I was being harassed daily. And lies, so many lies, I can't even tell you. Are we a patriotic family? Look at my son. Look at my son right there. Look at my flag. I've had that behind me. My husband, 30 years in the Army. Very decorated. Very decorated. See if I can get it over there. Nope, I can't get it over there. The camera. There it is. Do you see it? Very decorated, my husband. And this is the way that our 44 four-star generals have treated us. Now I'm going to get it all messed up. It's absolutely disgusting. Sorry, now my camera's messed up, but I had to show it to you. I had to show it. There. So, do I love people? Yes. Do I love people all over the world? Yes. Do I believe that Chinese people are under a bad government, or Russian people are under a bad government, or the American people are under a bad government, the North Koreans under a bad government, and on and on and on and on? Yeah. But I love people, and my whole life is a testament to loving people. Do I love my country? Absolutely. Has Corinne Adeline West, is it the truth that she has been up to no good? And it might be her job. This might be her job to be up to no good, to derail the search for the very first CONUS Deaths 1 missing soldier under the new Vanessa Guillen absent soldier flowchart. To derail people from helping us. To derail the narrative. Because we had, don't forget, Nick Brownbell, right? Being part of that site, being part of the PAO, coming from that PAO office there at Fort Bliss. He left there. But, that was astonishing. Because the PAO at Fort Bliss is the mouthpiece for Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe. And, the thing about these generals is, if a parent like me is treated like this, and we have a right to say something, we have a right to say something. We have the right to search for our son and not be bullied by asymmetric warfare tactics and military operations used against us. And the father-in-law of Lieutenant Colonel Bugado and the G3 of the 32nd ADCOM happened. And that is direct evidence that the CID and the FBI are up to no good in this case, and they should have no jurisdiction over Richard's case. None. And then we have the Tavita Nusa leaks coming out of the CID right there. He lost his badge, y'all. It's very hard to lose your badge. They won't tell us the date that he lost his badge. That is really important. We're still wanting that information. But now we have the leaks that prove that Leilani Hart had an insider. And, leaks coming out of the FBI and the CID. Someone had to have leaked it to her, these case files. And these case files were certified. I think we know the date of the certification. I'm going to check that. And they're not good, y'all. It's all about child sex trafficking and child porn production. So, Richard was not okay with that. I think the new agency that will search through Richard's case will find a real connection with the videos that were being airdropped that he turned in, and the Child Protective Service complaint or complaints, and why the IG were all over the barracks because of Halliday. They will also find out information about other leads, and I'll talk about that tomorrow, the other leads. And it's all, the reason I didn't understand why they were looking in 5 places. But the information coming out and reviewing all of the terrible things that were written to me, but with a fresh mind to get information from them, it looks that people with surgical knowledge, absolutely, they did to Richard like they did to Vanessa. They cut him up and they put him in different places that we would never find Richard. That is what is being investigated right now. And behind the scenes. And can you imagine? I am being so nice about this. And now you understand why I say that General Mealy and General McConville and Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe, they are absolute demons. And I'm being nice. And how Corinne Adeline West and her team, there's a bunch of them. Cold-blooded, heartless. Cold-blooded and heartless. And in the memory of Vanessa Guillen, in the memory of Caleb Smither, in the memory of Lavina Johnson, in the memory of Gregory Morales, in the memory of Enrique Roman Martinez, in the memory of Austin Hawk, in the memory of the unknown soldier, we will keep going. Because where's Richard? In many different places because they've cut him up. And we have demon 44 four-star generals, and we have a defenseless Washington, D.C. We have a defenseless media. Our media is in the hands of these foreign and domestic enemies also. And what do they care about? They care about if I say, hey, take a little cotton ball and put something on your knee when you have a spider bite, and it will help you. Yeah, they will down that. Oh, pray for the people in Russia, and they will call you a traitor. Pray for the people in the United States. What happened? We need to have prayers for Ohio, right? In more places, in our military. And we don't want more defectors, y'all, to Russia. You only have defectors, because I'm old enough to know, when the corruption is so bad that they really feel like they have nothing to come home to. So they have failed in that area too. They have failed in that area. I'll take your questions now. I almost forgot to. Go. Hi, Dolores. Thank you so much. Just got back from the community meeting with City Council member Brian Kennedy and Mayor Oscar Lesser and asked them to inquire to Fort Bliss about Richard. We will keep you posted. FBI was there too and heard me loud and clear. Thank you, Dolores. Danielle, how many other soldiers had handwritten travel vouchers during that same time. Yeah, absolutely. That's a very good point. Travel vouchers go directly to DFAS, so they must be digitized, especially active duty soldiers. Exactly. I don't believe you, Dallas Hart. I don't. I know too much, and maybe I'm wrong, but you've got to prove your character. You've got to prove it. And just coming a year later and saying, oh, well, I wasn't there. That's not enough. Hart was pilot trained by Adeline's daughter. I don't see how he says he doesn't know her. Yep, he said he doesn't know her, and Corinne wrote me and said he doesn't know my daughter. And she also said that he reached out to me. Why would Dallas reach out to Corinne? Huh? Why? I don't understand that. But when Rob and I both, because Rob was listening, talked to Dallas, he said that Corinne reached out to him clearly to let him know that there was this talking that they knew each other. And thank you, James. Yeah, thank you, James. I'm going to screenshot that because that's really important. Because they're, they want to say he's not there and that his mother. Now, the one thing that I do believe that I want to check on, that he made a good point, is he said that his mother got out in 2016. And that could be, even though I got a report that she was still in longer. But I don't know. I have to check that. Hart reached out, not the other way. Hart is in CA mode now. Well, he needs, it's like the son mother fight now. Is Leilani Hart right, or is her son Dallas Hart right? And, why should I be the referee? Why should I be, and we can't even count on the CID and the FBI. We can't even count on them. So I don't, we need to get Richard's file out of the jurisdiction of the CID and FBI, and we need to have it put into someone that will really take seriously this investigation. And we have mountains and mountains of information for them that will save them a lot of money. We will hand that all over, and they can find Richard very quickly. Very quickly. I want my son back. And this has to be for the sake of these United States, our Constitution, for the sake of every service member. I want them to know that there are still American people out here that will fight for them, even if they're hypnotized, even if they're under psychological duress. They need to be woken up. It's like that scene in Lord of the Rings where the king, everyone's like, gosh, the king has to wake up. He has to wake up. He's under this hypnosis, right? This psychological duress. And people are counting on him, right? And this is how our soldiers, this is a message I want to give to the soldiers. You've been under this psychological hypnosis, and we're counting on you. We need a Department of Defense. We need a military. Look at what's going on in Washington, D.C. None of that could be happening with our banks, with our infrastructure, things burning, with our border, with the elections, with all of that. If we had a very with it beautiful military, all of that would be restrained. Okay? It would be restrained. The enemy would be restrained. And this is why we need a military. But our leaders right now are they're treasonous. They've betrayed us. And they have been doing it for a long time because they've been also put under that duress. They've been also manipulated, and they're also just plain evil. And silence is consent. Silence is consent. And so I want the American service members to know that we have your six. We have your six. We are a Second Amendment family. We are a Second Amendment country. We are an armed citizenry so that we can have our military six when they get captured, when they get hijacked, when they need our help, when they are held hostage in there's no democracy in a military. So that's my message to them. I pray for them. I love them. I know they're not all perfect and all that, but they came into the military. Maybe some of them for bad intentions, but a lot of them for good intentions, and they were aspiring. But all through history, we've always had, young people coming in full of vim and vigor, sometimes some of them up to no good, but we have given our leaders everything possible to whip all these young people into shape, to be esprit de corps, to be a beautiful military with everything that they need. And these 44 four-star generals over all these decades have betrayed us. And it's time for it to stop. It's time for it to stop. We've got to do something about this because it's just, we're going to lose our country. We're going to lose our country. And I think we've lost our country, and we need to get it back. We need to get our country back. And so that's my message to all of these service members. Okay, thank you so much, and I will be back tomorrow, God willing. God willing, I'll be back tomorrow. Please pray, and I will see